Hi there, it's Snez here, and after 8 long months, we get to see the return and the reopening of not only Sentience personal training, but the Strength for Life, Living Longer, Living Stronger program. And this video today, I'm going to share with you some of our COVID safe practices and changes that we've had to make sure that we are offering a COVID safe program. So when you walk into the door, the sessions will start at 11 o'clock. We ask that you don't come in any time before 11 because the 10 a.m. session will be finishing, and we need to make sure, because of our limited numbers that we can have in the studio, that the 10 o'clock class have completely left before you come in for the 11 o'clock. So you're welcome to arrive a couple of minutes earlier and chit chat outside. Please make sure that you're wearing your mask when you arrive. You can also go for your walk, and at 11 o'clock you are welcome to come in. You will notice as soon as you walk into the studio that there is a hand sanitizing station, and we also do have a shoe rack. Now the reason being is that we are encouraging people not to wear shoes that they're wearing all throughout the public area, just in case if you pick up anything or come across someone that's sneezed on the floor, and then basically you bring it into the studio, because there is times where the members are doing push-ups on the floor and putting hands on the floor. So just make sure that you give your shoes a little bit of a wipe down, or if you know that you haven't been walking around with them, then please you can come in. From there, we also ask you to bring a towel with you to each station, to every session, just so that we can again reduce that risk and just keep things nice and clean. So remember your towel. Once you come into the studio, I'm just going to spin that around, you will see that there are a whole bunch of white markings on the floor. And the reason for this is because we have divided our space into 5 sections, or what we're calling pods. So we have 5 different pods, and in our semi-personal training sessions, those pods have 1 member in each. With our Strength for Life program, we're going to have 2 members in each pod. Now, unfortunately, we can't have the moving around throughout the space like we used to, because there is a restriction around sharing of equipment. So as soon as you come into the studio, one of the trainers will direct you to your pod. Now, with these pods, we're going to encourage you in every session to remember what pod you worked in, so that when you come to the next session, you are going to move to the next pod. So if you were in pod number 1, next time you come in, go over to pod number 2. So you're going to have the experience of working with all the equipment over time. That's going to give some variety in your training, as well as working with some of your favorite pieces of equipment that you do remember. In each pod, you will notice, I'm just going to walk you across. In each pod, you will notice, I'll move that out of the way, there is a personal caddy, okay, which you will need to share with one other person. In that caddy, there is a beautiful plant that we've been looking after the whole time in lockdown. There is more wipes here if you are wanting to use them. There is hand sanitizer for you to sanitize throughout the session, and there also is paper toweling and a disinfectant spray. So what we are going to ask that you do is, at the end of your session, you disinfect everything that you've touched and used. So this pod, this caddy is also going to be where you're going to put your drinks into, and your keys and any other valuables. You can put bags on either side of the caddy. So we don't have the sort of communal area where everyone was gathering to pick up their program cards and to also put their drinks down. We're just trying to keep everybody in a COVID safe space. You will find there is plenty of space in the pods for you to keep your distance. And in each of the pods, we do have a bench, some cardio pieces of equipment, all the dumbbells and kettlebells will be delivered that you will need, and there also is a white chair in each section. So if you do prefer to do your exercises seated, or you need that balance, a chair is there. If you are working on some more advanced exercises, you can use the bench. The bench and the chairs are separated on either sides of the pod, or if they're not, because the previous session has changed it, please move those two pieces of equipment away from each other to allow for the 1.5 metre distancing. Once you are in your pod, on your caddy, you will see that there is a program card. So because we can't do sharing of pens and we can't personalise your program card for you because you won't be moving around the room, we've created workouts for each pod. So when you're in pod number 1, you'll be working on this workout. When you go into the next pod, it will have its own workout. So the workouts are separated into beginner, intermediate and advanced. It is a laminated card and I'm going to ask you to wipe it down. Give it a quick wipe with the spray once you have finished your session. So there are a list of 8 exercises for you to complete. There is a balance exercise at the end and then your stretches. So the session will start with a normal warm-up walk as you are used to. Your mask needs to be on at that time. Once you come into the studio, please sanitize hands, wipe down feet, and we'll see how we go with that one. And then once you move into your workout pod, that's when you can remove your mask. We do ask that in some of the pods, we invite you to go for a walk for a bit of a cardio. If you are going to do that, you do need to put your mask back on. And at the end of the session, when you're wiping down your equipment and you're leaving the studio, we ask that you put your mask back on again. So once you are in your pod, as I said, we do have the program cards. They are beginner, intermediate and advanced. If you are unsure of where you feel you are at, speak to one of the trainers and they will tell you. But you might get a general sense of your level of ability, what you've been doing in lockdown, whether you feel like you want to start on the beginner exercises or the intermediate or go straight into the advanced, which I probably wouldn't encourage that in the first couple of weeks. There are actually 3 of these program cards, one for yourself, one for someone else working in your pod, and one for the trainer to carry around so that they know what's happening. Same as last time, if there is an exercise that you're unfamiliar with, ask one of the trainers. Now, in the first couple of weeks, it is going to take a little bit of time for everyone to have things explained to them. The exercises are going to be very similar to what you're used to, so you may be able to just follow along the program just by reading it. If there are exercises that you cannot complete due to restrictions or special consideration or injuries, same thing as pre-COVID, let your trainer know and they will give you an alternative. So once you have completed your card, as I said, give it a wipe, pop it back down. The other thing that I forgot to mention is after your warm-up walk, you will come into your pod area and the mobility exercises will be displayed on the TV screen. They are visible from each of the pods. So you will do your mobility as you remember them and as per normal, and then you start on your program. At the end of the session, just as pre-COVID, we are going to display the stretches. You'll do the stretches in your section and then we are done. Now, the only other change is that the sessions are 50 minutes in duration, just so that it gives us enough time to wipe down the equipment, make sure everybody leaves the facility in preparation for the next session. If you do have any questions about any of this, please feel free to call me on 9436 3240 and we cannot wait to have you back. Bye for now.